Have you ever felt the weight of your own strength like a shadow you're afraid to claim? Like an unspoken guilt for standing tall, for thinking deeply, for refusing to shrink? What if I told you that your power isn't something to justify, but something to reclaim? That the world doesn't need your apologies for the space you occupy, it needs your unshaken presence. Imagine a force so quiet it doesn't need to announce itself, a strength so rooted it doesn't beg for validation. This isn't arrogance, this is sovereignty. This is what happens when you stop apologizing for the depth of your mind, the fire of your spirit, the unyielding truth of your being. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." But what happens when you awaken and the world demands you go back to sleep? Here's where the game changes. When you stop dimming your light to make others comfortable, the entire room shifts. People will call you too much, too intense, too perceptive, too unafraid. But what they're really saying is that they no longer recognize you, because the version they knew was one that played by their rules. Your power disrupts, it unsettles, it forces others to confront the parts of themselves they've buried. And that's why they'll try to make you feel guilty for it. Think about the last time you held back an idea because it sounded too bold. The last time you softened your truth to keep the peace. The last time you let someone else's discomfort dictate your voice. Now ask yourself, who does that serve? Certainly not you. Certainly not the world waiting for your unfiltered contribution. Jung understood this when he spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we disown to fit in. But here's the paradox. The more you deny your power, the more it controls you. The more you apologize for your depth, the shallower your life becomes. Let me tell you a story about a river. A river doesn't apologize for its current. It doesn't beg the rocks for permission to flow. It moves with a force that carves canyons, shapes landscapes, sustains life. Not because it's aggressive, but because it's unapologetically itself. You are that river. And every time you say, "I'm sorry" for your intensity, your insight, your passion, you dam your own waters. But what if you stopped? What if you stood in your strength without explanation, without dilution? The world might recoil at first, relationships might strain, people might whisper. But then something extraordinary happens. You begin to attract those who speak your language. You become a mirror for others to see their own untapped potential. Your presence alone becomes an invitation, not to shrink, but to rise. This isn't about dominance. It's about authenticity. Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming whole by embracing every disowned part of yourself. And it starts when you refuse to apologize for the very things that make you formidable. Your mind isn't too much. It's a weapon against ignorance. Your emotions aren't too intense. They're the compass to your truth. Your voice isn't too loud. It's the anthem of those still learning to speak. So I ask you now, how long will you kneel to the fear of being seen? How long will you trade your sovereignty for the illusion of belonging? The moment you stop apologizing for your power is the moment you reclaim your right to exist without permission. And that, my friend, is when the real journey begins. They'll tell you to dial it back, to be less, to soften, to quiet the storm inside you. But have you ever noticed who benefits from that demand? The ones who are comfortable with mediocrity, the ones who fear the reflection of their own untapped potential. Jung warned us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But privilege implies a cost, and the cost is often loneliness. Think of the last time someone labeled you too much, too passionate, too analytical, too visionary. What they were really saying was, "You're making me uncomfortable with the parts of myself I've neglected." Your power exposes their complacency. Your fire highlights their unlit corners, and so they'll try to extinguish you, not because there's anything wrong with you, but because your light makes their shadows visible. Here's the truth they won't tell you. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It needs unapologetic thinkers, feelers, creators, those willing to stand in their fullness even when it unsettles. But first, you must confront the greatest lie you've been sold, that your strength is a flaw, that your depth is a burden, that your voice is an interruption. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you censored yourself to make someone else comfortable? When did you last bite your tongue, swallow your truth, or dull your edges to fit into a box that was never meant to hold you? Every time you do, you betray yourself, and the cost compounds. Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of human experience. But what happens when the collective fears individuality? When it punishes uniqueness? It creates a world of echoes, not voices, of masks, not faces. Your refusal to apologize for your power isn't rebellion, it's restoration. You are remembering what the world has tried to make you forget, that you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, so the next time someone tells you you're too much, look them in the eye and say, "Good." Then watch as the ones who can't handle your flame retreat, and the ones who've been waiting for a signal fire find their way to you. Silence can be the loudest statement. Withdrawal, the most powerful move. Jung knew this when he wrote, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people." But what happens when you stop explaining your silence, when you stop justifying your absence? Imagine a tree. It doesn't beg the wind to stop blowing. It doesn't negotiate with the storm. It stands, it bends, it loses leaves, but its roots, unshaken. This is the essence of unapologetic power, not the absence of vulnerability, but the presence of unbreakable core. And yet, how often do you uproot yourself to please passing seasons? Here's where most people fail. They confuse power with volume, with force, with dominance. But real power is subtler. It's the quiet certainty of a mountain, the effortless pull of gravity. It doesn't need to announce itself because its presence is undeniable. And when you embody this, something shifts. People will test you. They'll poke, prod, provoke. Not because they dislike you, but because they're desperate to confirm you're as unstable as they feel. Your calm becomes a mirror, your silence an accusation. And that's when you'll face the ultimate temptation, to react, to engage, to prove, resist. Jung's shadow work isn't just about facing your darkness. It's about reclaiming the power you've projected onto others. Every time you apologize for your strength, you give it away. Every time you dull your radiance, you betray your soul's purpose. So let me ask you, what would happen if you stopped explaining? If you stopped seeking permission to exist in your fullness? The answer is simple. You'd become free. And freedom is the most dangerous gift of all. There's a reason society fears the unapologetic. A reason systems crumble when individuals stand firm. Jung saw it. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Because when you do, you become untouchable. Think of the last time you met someone who radiated quiet confidence. No boasting, no posturing, just an unwavering sense of self. How did it make you feel? Inspired? Intimidated? Awestruck? That's the effect of integrated power, and it's within your reach. But first you must confront the cost, the friendships that will fade, the labels that will stick, the loneliness that will visit. This is the initiation, the fire that forges. Because true power isn't about being admired, it's about being real. And reality doesn't negotiate, so ask yourself tonight, what parts of you have you disowned to belong? What gifts have you buried to avoid envy? What truths have you silenced to keep the peace? The answers will hurt, but the rebirth, it will be magnificent. This is where most stop, at the threshold, at the edge of the familiar. But you're not most, and the world needs your fire. So let me leave you with this. Power isn't taken, it's remembered. And the moment you stop apologizing for yours, the revolution begins. Think of a phoenix. It doesn't apologize for the flames that consume it. It doesn't beg the ashes to reassemble. It burns because burning is the only way to rise. Your power is no different. The world will call it arrogance, intensity, too much, until the day it needs it. Until the day your unshaken truth becomes the anchor in someone else's storm. Jung knew this. He wrote, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. But you do know. You've always known. The question is, when will you stop asking permission to be it? So let this be your rebellion. Not a shout, but a silence so deep it shakes foundations. Not a fight, but a presence so unyielding it forces the world to bend around you. This is where the old story ends, and where your real power begins.